Hey guys, it's Paul. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens here on APS Plus because I didn't really feel like I could make it into a normal video for the main channel, but a lot of people do talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens and Rush Duels and how that's going to factor into the future of Yu-Gi-Oh! So this is an interesting one, and I'm not going to be speaking from any area of extreme expertise. It's all just conjecture and personal thoughts and observations. So, take it for what it's worth. It's just one person's opinion. So, Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens, the anime, and then Rush Duels, the game accompanying it. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens anime started I guess last summer, sometime around then, and it's been airing, give or take a few small COVID breaks. It's on like episode 32, 33, like at the time that I'm recording this. And it's been really cool. I've watched it. I actually quite like it. I think it's designed well as sort of like a sort of hijinksy kids show. I know a lot of people initially did not care for it when it was first revealed. They felt like, this is too big a departure from the Yu-Gi-Oh that they know and love. They wanted more mystique or more sort of darker, more mature elements, or just a more concentrated story, an older protagonist, all of these things. So the anime exists. I'll give a few more thoughts on that in a second. The next thing is Rush Duels themselves. Now, we've been getting announcements of Rush Duel cards for, basically the past year now, and we know the rules of Rush Duels and how it works, how the cards look. I like that there's like a new card frame, there's new card artwork, and sort of the art style and everything is a little bit different. There are some very different mechanics. The rules don't work exactly the same way that they do in regular Yu-Gi-Oh! And I think that that's all good and well. So, how does this all fit into the ultimate release of any of this in the United States or just in the West in general? So, we know that Konami, I think, has gotten a trademark for Rush Duels, and I think that 4K Media, or one of the companies that handles the anime, has also trademarked Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens, I believe. You guys don't quote me on that. I'm sure that the specifics are a little bit different, but that's the general idea. These things have been trademarked, and we also have heard that there is a dub in the works for Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens that got revealed in an interview recently. I think with some of the voice actors from the other shows said that they're working on dubs for this show. So that's all good and well. I think this is extremely exciting, and this is something that I really, really want to see happen, but I do think it's something that a lot of people have some misunderstandings about. So, when I was talking about the Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens anime, I was saying how I thought it was pretty good for what it was. I know a lot of people don't like it because of the sort of the way the design is very fundamentally different. I think wholeheartedly that they made the right decision, and here's why. So Yu-Gi-Oh! Had a huge lightning in a bottle moment in 2002 with, the 4Kids anime adaptation. You can say what you want about, oh, they censored this, oh, they censored that, or they changed this. A lot of people don't like that, but what people don't understand is the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime was exposed to so many of us as kids or like middle schoolers or whatever in just the best way possible. There was so much merchandise, there was so much excitement around the game. The characters were extremely memorable. There were tournaments, things at your Books A Million or at your Walmart or at your Toys R Us. They sent out that VHS and the DVD guide and the Starter Deck Yu-Gi, the Starter Deck Kaiba. There's so much nostalgia and magic surrounding those first few formative years of Yu-Gi-Oh, both in the anime and in the TCG. And I don't think that anybody would disagree if I said that Yu-Gi-Oh! Has never recaptured that. Obviously, GX was also super well received. But after that, it starts to kind of wane a little bit. 5D's more mature story certainly has a cult following, but it's not the lightning in a bottle Yu-Gi-Oh that a lot of us I think associate with childhood. And Zexal also very good. I know a lot of kids and teens liked it, but it wasn't the mainstream pop culture thing. And this is in stark comparison to maybe something like Pokemon, which has pretty consistently maintained a level of popularity. And so when I think of what Yu-Gi-Oh needs to do in order to sort of stay relevant or perhaps even reinvent itself, I think that Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens kind of is the way. Obviously, Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 had, mixed reviews, and Vrains, a lot of people don't even know about Vrains. I think that Vrains is the biggest example of Yu-Gi-Oh anime really just not hitting the mark in terms of like appealing to kids in the West, because this anime basically didn't get a dub, and in order to watch it you had to go to Crunchyroll. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, that's not that hard, but think about it from the perspective of like, an 8-year-old kid. They're not necessarily going to know what the heck Crunchyroll is, what subs and dubs are, how that whole process works. Kids need to see shows on Saturday morning as like Saturday morning cartoons or cartoons after school, just on TV. And Yu-Gi-Oh hasn't really had that for many years now, and so I think that it also causes the products to be a lot less interesting. Started at Yugi, started at Kaiba, started at Joey, Pegasus were so exciting because they reflected the characters that you'd seen on your favorite after school or Saturday morning TV show, and you wanted to be like these characters, have their iconic cards. And when you see a product and it's got Kaiba on it, and he's like staring, he's got his card and his chain, and it's got there's the cutout window with the blue eyes. It's this iconic monster, and it's like the same art as the anime and all that. That is a huge just bomb of like interest and nostalgia and recognizability and everything. And the thing is, that doesn't exist for Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains. Like, a lot of people don't know who Yusaku is. And so when he's featured on the cover of like, some starter deck code breaker or whatever, or even, Soul Burner featured on a Soul Burner structure deck, you don't know who these people are. Like, kids wouldn't. You and I might, because we maybe have seen the anime, but you have to really go out of your way to see the anime. So, back to the main point, I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens is doing a great job because it seems like it's much more kid-focused, and I think that if they can get a dub out, that's going to be fantastic. This is an anime that needs to be released in the States as a dub. It needs to be on some major TV network. It doesn't matter which one it is. I'm not going into the specifics of that. I think that that's how you appeal to younger players, and as we know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a pretty big onboarding issue with younger players. A lot of people that play are, maybe are like young adults, but you just don't get a lot of new kids. That's from the TCG being kind of complicated and maybe not beginner friendly, but also because the animes are hard to access. So I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens combining that more like childlike, hijinksy, gimmicky appeal, where the characters are just funny and they're kids in elementary school and they're just having fun with a card game that they made, is good. And so I think if you can release that with a dub at the same time that you release the Rush Duels product, then that's a good start. Now let's get to the Rush Duel product a little bit. So I know, the ideas of Rush Duels seem a little weird to people. Like, what? You just get to summon as many monsters as you want? That's stupid. But I think it's all very genius. I think they took a lot of the stuff that works well with Duel Links and Speed Duels. That is, 3 monster card zones and 3 spell and trap card zones, 4,000 life points. And they also just reinvented it in such a way that kids, I think, will understand it a lot better. You can just summon all your monsters out, and if you want to tribute summon, you still have to tribute. Things like that still exist, but I kind of like that idea. I also really like that each turn, you always draw until you have 5 cards. So that sounds to, maybe a veteran Yu-Gi-Oh! Player like they're just throwing all caution to the wind and just making this game even crazier. But I don't think they are. Most of the monsters, especially if you watch the anime, most of the monsters in a Rush Duel are not like particularly strong monsters, and they don't have really powerful effects. But I think that helps to balance the fact that you can summon as many of them as you want, and you can do tribute summons and stuff that way. So you're not getting to do like some broken link combo like you might be able to do in the modern TCG. Instead, you're just being able to quickly populate your field with monsters so you can summon your strongest monsters, and each turn you get to draw new cards, so you always feel like you can make a comeback and you always feel like you can make a play. And that's actually a really large sort of prevailing ideology in the anime itself, is that Rush Duels are designed to be fun, fast, accessible, and always feel like you can make a comeback. So even if your opponent has a really strong setup on the board, next turn, you will always get to draw until you have enough cards to at least attempt some sort of comeback. We'll see if that, works out. I don't know, but I think that it's a really promising thing. I like that it's different from regular Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm actually really glad that this seems like it's something that's kind of going to be made separately. I don't think that regular Yu-Gi-Oh! Can handle more summoning mechanics or anything like that. I think this is a good approach for the game to take. I also really, really like that the card frame is different. I find Yu-Gi-Oh's old card frame to be it feels a little dated and in need of a facelift. These new cards look they're brighter, they're more colorful. it conveys the information a lot more immediately. Obviously, the effects aren't as long. I like that, you know, you don't have to see all the stars. You see one star and it says the number that the monster is, like 7 or something. I think that's all really great. I hope that they also use like good printing quality for the cards. That would be cool. I just think it honestly looks really refreshing, and I am excited for it. I genuinely think that people need to give it a shot, give it a chance. It might be more fun than you think. I hope Konami handles it better than Speed Duels. I hope we get good, you know, local tournament support, like at tournament stores. I hope that there's good marketing and advertising in it. All I know is that I think it's a great deviation from regular Yu-Gi-Oh! I want to see it get supported. I'm excited, and I wholeheartedly recommend that people give Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s and Rush Duels more of a try. I guess my final things is I hope that it can release by the end of this year. Like, you know, late 2021, like maybe in the fall. That would be great. It sounds like if they're working on a dub, then it's pretty likely that they can, you know, get the anime done for that time. I think that it's important that the anime and the card game release pretty concurrently. You don't want any like mismatching with, you know, products and character recognizability. Hopefully that can all be towards the end of this year. Obviously, thanks to COVID, it's going to be a little more complicated to have like a local tournament scene in all places. But I hope that this can work that way. I hope people are more willing to give it a try. It's not necessarily targeted at people our age group, and that's fine. You know, like if you're in your 20s or your 30s, this might not be your thing, and it's okay if you don't like it. But definitely don't, you know, there's no need to like publicly hate it or anything. It's not going to kill you or something like that. And it seems to me like they're also able to manage the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG fine as it is. So it doesn't seem like it's, you know, dividing attention too much internally in Konami. But who knows about that? That's not something I'm fully aware of. Anyways, yeah, those are my thoughts on Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s and Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duels. And hopefully they come out and hopefully they're successful. I've gone on long enough, so yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Pass turn.